You and the girls and Beth should get here as soon as you can. They're saying it won't be long now.
There are 3 episodes left on This Is Us. Kevin, Kate, and Randall banded together after Miguel's death to find out what Rebecca's next moves should be in This Is Us Season 6, Episode 16. However, they had opposing viewpoints on what was best for their mother. While the big 3 debate Rebecca's care in the present, This Is Us Season 6, Episode 16 flashed back to several instances in which Rebecca was responsible for her children. However, this is a fear-based episode. Randall and Kevin's power struggle over logistics is a technique for them to convince themselves that they're doing something worthwhile while emotionally separating themselves. Only Kate can overcome her anxiety and recognize that what Rebecca really needs is constant, loving attention. There are 3 episodes remaining in the Big Three's journey. The season has been full of happy endings, but there is one story left to tell, Rebecca's death, which has been long anticipated. Episode 16 gets us closer to that event by focusing on a key meeting between Kate, Kevin, and Randall about how to handle Rebecca's care in the wake of Miguel's death, as the title family meeting suggests. The siblings' desire to compensate their mother for everything she has done for them is at the heart of the discussion. A montage of a fatigued Rebecca taking care of the kids in the middle of the night, early morning, crying newborn Kevin, young Kate frightened by nightmares, high school-age Randall needing a permission form signature, is shown at the start of the episode. Following the montage, the episode features 4 time period plots: Rebecca fighting to get baby Kate to sleep one night, young Kevin losing a tooth, the big 3 being caught at a high school party, and Rebecca's health rapidly deteriorating a week following Miguel's death. Kate refuses to sleep one night when Jack is away on a business trip. Rebecca falls asleep, only to be awoken by Kate's sobs. She had fallen off the bed while her mother was sleeping. Rebecca, terrified, dials the doctor's number. Rebecca waits by Kate's cot all night, eyes fixed to her daughter in dread of unnoticed injury, despite being told Kate is probably all right. When Kate grins in the morning, Rebecca finally believes everything is well. Kate claims she is aware of what Mommy required, that smile. Fast forward to when the children are approximately the age of 7. After losing his 7th teeth, Kevin greets his parents with a delighted exclamation. A dejected Kate points out that she hasn't lost any teeth yet, and Jack reflects on how many the lads have lost. Jack exclaims that means she'll stay young forever. Kevin devises a plan to apprehend the Tooth Fairy, while Randall admits to being terrified of the mysterious creature. Rebecca then tells Randall the truth about the Tooth Fairy on the condition that he not inform his siblings. The conversations between Kate and Randall reveal a dramatic contrast in how each was handled. Kate was frequently treated as a child, whereas Randall was viewed as an adult, which explains why Randall always felt responsible and Kate felt inferior. When Kate expresses her dissatisfaction with the fact that her boys always seem to be ahead of her, Rebecca comforts her. Kate, Rebecca claims, is just a late bloomer who may take longer than others to complete tasks, but once she is, she will leave everyone in the dust. Rebecca receives a late-night call from another parent a month after Jack's death, informing her that the big 3 were caught at a crazy party. Kate is inebriated, and Randall was involved in a brawl. Randall claims Kevin got Kate drunk and that he got into a fight to protect Kate from a man who had indecent designs for her. After that, Rebecca hails Randall as a hero for punching the boy. Rebecca speaks to Kate in a quasi-sexual manner, expressing her hope that Kate realizes she has a lot to offer. Rebecca should just accept that she has 2 out of 3 winning kids, Kevin and Randall, and accept that Kate is a dud, says Kate. She claims that her parents' perceptions of her are incorrect. She's expressing her feelings of inferiority to her brothers once more. Rebecca's answer isn't shown. Instead, we see her chastise Kevin for dragging his siblings into his inebriated mess. While the big 3 contemplate Rebecca's future, Beth and the other in-laws withdraw to the cabin, allowing the Pearson siblings to express their emotions. As usual, Beth provides comic relief and is the MVP. Beth and Sophie talk about their Pearson days at the cabin. Philip wants to assist the siblings, but Beth insists that no one can. Sophie agrees, pointing out that the lads are probably having a who is the better man and some pissing contest. In the chat, Beth and Sophie portray Randall and Kevin. The women nail their impressions, words, tone, cadence, and everything, in a fantastic scenario. Philip chastises the women for making light of the big 3's suffering. After spending so much time with the Pearsons, Beth has started to locking herself away and blowing off steam when they erupt in feelings, speeches, and grand gestures like having others move in. She considers being a member of the Pearson family to be both a hardship and a blessing in her life. Sophie agrees and Philip softens and accepts Sophie's lighthearted approach. We see old and new in-laws getting along. Nikki, Eddie, Madison, Elijah, and the kids, along with the rest of the Pearson circle, spend the day exploring the mountains. Rebecca has trouble remembering Neagle's death 7 days later. When she wakes up in the middle of the night, she frantically calls for him and is terrified of the nurse who answers. Rebecca's future is discussed at a formal family meeting called by the Big Three. Randall is interested in relocating her to Philadelphia. He believes she requires daily family support and that she cannot live alone in the Pacona's house. Kevin claims that Randall and Beth are too busy for Rebecca and that she should stay in a familiar environment. He also doesn't want Rebecca to leave what he considers to be the only decent thing he ever did for her. Like Sophie and Beth imagine, the brothers dispute, with Randall claiming that he knows Rebecca best and Kevin insulting Randall's closeness with Rebecca. Kate takes a break from the conversation to take Rebecca for a walk. Kevin and Randall contemplate as the women leave on how they don't see the mom they remember, the one who was magical and always understood what they needed, a reference to the flashbacks. Rebecca couldn't have guessed how much her children would want to repay her for her love, according to Randall. As a result, he vows that he is bringing her home, regardless of what Kevin says. Toby gives Kate a pep talk over the phone after the walk. Kate is a boss, a wife, and a mother with a master's degree in education and a job establishing an arts curriculum for California, he reminds her. However, he observes that while she is around her brothers, she appears to be a lesser version of herself. Rebecca selected Kate for a reason, Toby reminds Kate. This all ties back to Kate's childhood feelings of inadequacy and Rebecca's unwavering belief that Kate would be fearless once she found her stride, which she did. Randall tells Beth that he needs to take over Rebecca's care since Kate is too overwhelmed and Kevin is too careless. Beth, on the other hand, puts Randall in his place. She warns him not to underestimate his siblings, claiming that Randall often thinks of Kate and Kevin as they were rather than how they are now. In lamenting their mother's decline, Kate rallies her brothers and addresses the issue that neither of them looks at or touches her anymore. Rebecca's hair is brushed by Randall, while her hands are moisturized by Kevin. Later, with the entire family present, including the in-laws, Nikki, Eddie, Madison, and Elijah, Kate declares that she and Philip will bring Rebecca to Los Angeles to live with them or in a facility, because Rebecca cannot stay at the house alone, and Randall cannot defy Rebecca's Thanksgiving wishes by shrinking his life for her. Kevin, on the other hand, suggests another option. Kevin and Sophie will move into the house with Rebecca because the Manny is ending and his new adventure, Big Three Homes, is set on the East Coast. Kevin will still be near his children because Madison and Elijah are also heading east. Nikki and Eddie mention that they'll be there to assist Kevin and Sophie. Both Kate and Randall eventually agree to this arrangement, and Kate later muses on the significance of the siblings becoming a trio, a grand surprise to Jack and Rebecca, who thought they were only getting one baby. A montage of the Big Three and their families integrating into this new era follows the touching family meeting, Kevin and Sophie getting comfortable at Rebecca's house, Randall and Kate socializing with their families, Elijah and Madison melding their lives with the Pearsons. Kevin phones Randall one night and tells him that the family should come as soon as possible because Rebecca is running out of time. That will most likely lead into the show's final episodes, in which we'll see Rebecca's final moments and what they imply for the Big Three. Here's to the next chapter of the story.